We are talking right after the season with Coach Norbert Kalabiška, and I'm super curious, what is the first word in your mind if I ask you, hey, describe this season?
It will be probably impressed. Do I need to explain?
Yeah.
Impressed by, I had a different group than last season. Obviously older guys, or some guys continued with me. And I was impressed how great they can be if they're getting better, and they continue with the process. And I don't want to name any because it's whole team, but everybody, in my eyes, everybody made a progress in a certain way, And even though you're failing, we can talk if failing exists or not, but even though you struggle with something, you're still making progress because that's going to help you for future.
Does failing exist?
I don't have complete opinion about that, but for me, in some sense, yes. But everybody has a different definition of failure. I call it failure because it's like most common word, but it's for longer debate. But for me, in some sense, yes, failure exists.
Of course, it's different to work with 17s, work with 19s, work with men's, and also you as a coach need to find a balance. Who you are. Sometimes you have to. Hey, we'll be okay, and in different way you have to yell. How to find the balance?
Yeah, again, it goes to two things. It's a team or it's an individual approach. Like I try to be myself. I try to players get know me so they understand why I'm yelling, why I'm not yelling, what I'm doing, and at the same time I try to approach everybody different. Even though it's a collective sport, you can't just use the one approach for everybody. It's impossible. Everybody is different. So. Finding the balance, I don't think so there is a formula for it. I don't think so we can say, I know how to find the balance. I think so every year is different, and you can have some points you always do, but a lot of times you would have to improvise. Because every group is different, like you don't have a one team for 4 years in GBA, you have always different people, you have to put them together, they have to understand how to get better, mentalities and all this. So I don't think so I can say I know how to find the balance, but I can say I think so we found it last season, we found it partially this season, but there is no definition for it.
Yeah, you said that each year there's a different teams, which is, of course, this is how our academy is functioning. So what type of team did you have this year?
I mean, I had guys, they come in with me from last season, 2005s, and then I have guys I partially coached last season, but I was just assistant in the U19s. So I had to find a way how to coach them, and I think so we did it at the end of the day. This type of group had a really good fundamental, and I had to bring it to the point when they will really push each other by saying the truth, not always being nice on each other. It doesn't mean they don't like each other, it doesn't mean they want to hurt each other, that just means we want to really get better together. Because I believe development is the one thing, one-on-one is the one thing to coach like one player and getting better physically or technically, but to get better as a player, you have to have a support from your teammates. Like somebody needs to pass you that ball to shoot the open shot, or I can name many examples of this.
Okay, so let's go to this basketball-wise. What was happening during the whole season? My
goal was really to in June when the parents call in to Julian or to me, they're gonna be saying like overload. We had a great season. They got them better, and they're happy. They have to be happy, and so far right now, I guess that happened. I think so. We stayed aligned for most of the season. Like I would say, they stayed together. They were doing together. Obviously, we had struggles because when we split it and Dodo get injured or Vicky went out or Max, then we had to find the rhythm. I think so. I had a smart kids. I have a smart kids, and it took us the time. It's normal even for adults. So I actually expected more struggle than was. I think so we did figure it in 2-3 weeks. I have to give the credit to kids, like in 2-3 weeks in this age to figure something what you don't experience. I have to say it's a great job.
And what did you as a coach has to do on those hard times?
I have to put myself in this same position. It was very hard for me also. Like obviously you're doing something and the circumstance change, and I said to kids, we have to accept and adjust. And that's the 2 A's I used. A lot of people they didn't play before the certain time. Some people take over the leadership, some people got them better in shooting on this. So I think so at the end of the day we handle really well, accept the results, but again I don't care as much as the results as the kids are happy and better. Okay,
something what came to my mind is, you win or you learn, but also there are like losses, which we have to say. And I think this is hard in coaching life, that players are sad, and maybe some of them are destroyed after losses, and you as a coaches, you also feel those emotions. So you have to handle your emotions and also players' emotions. Is this the hardest part of, or just part of this coaching life?
It depends. If you really want to get them better, you have to handle this for sure. If you want to win, that's questionable for me, because if you want to win, you might change the player in next level. You might trade him. You might, in this type of environment when we want to get better everybody, you have to involve everybody. So you have to really care, even though in a business, when somebody doesn't perform, it's fired, right? But in this case, they are here to get better. We don't really see that as a coaches, but I learned a lot last season. I learned a lot this season. Like there was some adjustments I had to make I never made before. The winning is important for motivation. I didn't want to go lose. At the same time, I want everybody have a quality reps and just be happy. But if you lose 8 games straight, it's very hard to get motivated, and they have to learn how to do it.
Okay, so about this season, basketball-wise, games to remember.
Games to remember. Okay, I'll say what I have in my heart. Obviously, for me, it was a fun, but it was probably Brno away 2 games. That was like wonderful time because we went there like underdogs. We didn't expect anything. We just showed the 4 months work. Then Young Guns, definitely. Like after first beating after, let's say, tremendous trap on us, and we didn't handle the American way because this was first experience with this. Then we really redeemed ourselves, and we showed, like, was a full gym, so we showed the people like pride of GBA and everything. So we won 2 games straight, and it was against international teams, so they showed they can play against if they want and if they concentrated. And then was definitely in Nymburk, obviously. Like this series, again, nobody expected us to win, and we lost first game badly by 18. And I had the same situation like last season. I had to, in 1 day and 2 days, maximize everything, and I think so we did, and we won, and it worked out, and they had a chance to play playoff. We had mentality at the end of the day.
It's also about being pro.
It's also being pro, and I don't think so this is something they're gonna learn this year. Like I'm still learning how to be professional every day, and I'm trying. I think so for most parts I can be, but there is also days when I'm vulnerable, all of us. And this kids, it's the age, it's the age, and also it's the characters. Some of them are more pro, some of them are less. But being professional, it's not like I read in a book and I have to feel this way. I have to really commit to the job, and I have to have experience.